Howdy. Today I want to answer a very simple question. What do you do when your ads suck? When they're not performing, when you're running an ad for yourself or for a client and you're not getting the results that you want to get, what actions should you take? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to take you inside of Ads Manager and give you a walkthrough of Facebook Analytics and how you can look at the data in a certain way and figure out what needs to be changed. Because all of the Facebook Analytics data actually is great information for troubleshooting what's wrong with your ad. And I have a very simple system for going in, looking at the ads, looking at the information in a particular order, and using that to diagnose the problem of the ad. Do you need a different audience? Do you need to change your offer? Do you need to change the ad copy or the image? Maybe it's a problem with the landing page or wherever you're sending them. Maybe that's not converting as well. You can find all that inside the analytics dashboard by looking at that data and letting it tell you what the problem is. And this is what smart marketers do. They look at the data objectively and let them guide their decision making instead of making wild guesses or assuming, oh no, my copy's good, my image is good, my offer's great, everybody wants it. They let the data tell them. That way they can make good decisions and get great results. So let's dive into it. Howdy and welcome to the Laptop Empire Show. I'm your host, Mike Yanda, and today we're diving inside Ads Manager. I'm taking you into some client accounts to show you how to look at these numbers. What do these metrics mean? What do the numbers mean? What are good numbers? What are bad numbers? And how do we make decisions to improve our campaigns based on this information? Because when you learn to read this data, you can fix any ad. You can figure out what the problem is. You can figure out whether the content needs changed, the landing page, the words in your ad, the image, like everything. And so we're going to dive into these numbers. I'm going to explain what they are and kind of a process for reading them. All right. So I'm going to be going into 2 ad campaigns today. And first, I'm just going to quickly kind of walk you through what the terms are. I think that's going to be super helpful. So the first thing I do when I look at a campaign is I'm going to come over to the right, where you can choose what the columns are. And I set it to performance and clicks. This gives me most of the information that I need. On the top right, you can choose, is it lifetime? Do you want to see today, yesterday, the last 7 days? I tend to look at the last 7-day performance. I will look at the last 3-day performance, yesterday's performance, and today's performance. I like to go through those things. So you can click, last 7 days, and then you can go here and you can choose the 3 days, right? So you can say, okay, let's do that. Boom, there's the last 3 days. You can look, presets for yesterday, today, and I just have lifetime up to kind of illustrate this for you. So that's the first thing. I set that up. I tend to look at the last 7-day performance first and work my way into smaller intervals. That way I can see what's the average performance, because you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have really good days, really bad days, and then mostly just regular days, but it all averages out. And so I want to see those averages. Now, when we get here, there's all this information, and I'm just going to show you some key information. This in particular is for a local gym, and so we're generating leads for that gym for a program they have. It's a paid program. They do very, very well, convert a high percentage of these customers, and so when we do this, we're showing them an ad for an offer. They sign in on a landing page, their name, email, contact information, all of that, and then they follow up with them. And so that's what we're analyzing here, but it can work the same way for webinars, for products, for a list building campaign, giving away a PDF lead magnet or a video or whatever it may be. And so this other campaign I'm looking at, this is for a webinar. And so there's a lot more data, but it's the same concept. So even though I'm analyzing a very simple local campaign, this applies to everything. So the big key things you need to look at are, one, how much did you spend, right? The amount spent in that period of time. How many results did you get from that spend? And the result is going to be whatever you're optimizing for. So this is a lead gen campaign, and it's a lead form. So it's how many people submitted their information. If it was a conversion, it might say lead, complete registration, purchase, whatever it is you're optimizing for. And so that's going to be the result. That's the thing we're trying to achieve. And then cost per result, which is really just how much you spent divided by the results. It gives you that number. This is great information. And this cost per result is really the number that matters more than anything. If other things that are messed up or other things aren't in ideal parameters, but you're getting a good cost per result, then you don't need to worry about it. We only look at the other information if we're not getting the cost per result that we want. So if you look here, at this £7 per lead, That's higher than we want. We really want to be, I mean, this was okay. And what you can see is this was running for 45 days and we were probably doing 5 to 6 pounds. And then at the very tail end of that, it went up and it was like 10, 15, it started to climb. So we needed a new ad. Okay. And we pulled it down, but we got 45 leads out of this, getting a few leads per day, which is what they wanted to get. And so then we had to do a new ad campaign. And you can see we created a new one. Cost was really high. So we create a new one. The cost is under $5. That's great. We know that that's going to convert and be profitable for us. But it was when we saw that rise in cost information that we went and we dug into the data. So what do you do when you see this data? What do you do when you see $14 per lead and your target cost per lead is $5 or $6? That's where we go into this other information. And so I want to point out a couple of things. I'm actually going to switch to this other campaign to show you the first thing that I look at. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set this to performance and clicks, and then I'm going to scroll all the way to the right. Basically, this is a campaign where I've decided, hey, I'm not seeing the numbers. I'm not getting the cost per result that I want. I'm going to go troubleshoot. And the first thing that I'm going to look at is CPM. And it's this one right here. And the reason I moved over to this campaign is because it has a really good illustration of CPM for y'all. All right. So CPM means cost per 1,000 impressions. It's basically how much are you paying for 1,000 people to see the ad. And this is a very telling stat because it can tell you if you're paying way too much or way too little for your ads. And so we're looking at this because we had trouble with our ads and we want to look. Now, the CPM is going to be different for everybody. It could be different based on the location, the targeting you're using, the performance of the ad, whether there's a lot of negative engagement, all kinds of things. But first, if I just have all these campaigns like I have here and I have a couple that aren't performing well, I want to troubleshoot them. And so the main metric on this particular campaign that we're looking for is cost per click. And so if you look at these cost per clicks, we have everything from 47 cents up to £1.89, £1.90. Okay. So obviously with this £1.42 and this £1.189, even this £1.130, these are not as good performing ads, right? They're the ones that we want to troubleshoot. This 47 cents, 64 cents, 63 cents, we like that. We want more of that. So we want to figure out what's wrong here. And so the first thing we look at is that CPM, and you'll notice this £1.89 one and this £1.42, our two highest ones, have $23 and $21 CPM. We're paying over $20 for 1,000 people to see the ad. When you compare it to our best performing ones, right, that the 47 cents per click and 63 cents per click and 64 cents, we're paying £8, £8, £10. So we're paying as much as double to reach those. And so if this had similar CPM, then this $1.89 is going to turn into a 90-cent campaign. This $1.42 is going to turn into a 70-cent campaign. So what that could tell me is that, like, hey, the copy might be doing all right, but the CPM is really high for some reason. CPM could be high for a number of reasons, though. It could be the engagement. It could be that the ad isn't working and the copy does need change, or people are having an adverse reaction to it. Or it could be something like the targeting, like the competition on the targeting, something of that nature. And so I'm looking at these, and just the way I have my ads labeled, I see a commonality between these 20 plus pound CPMs. They have a 1% lookalike in the US with this targeting interest over top of it. They both have that. And you'll notice this one is a Great Britain lookalike with that targeting, and this is no lookalike. This is just interests. But when I combine the interest and the lookalike in the US, we're getting really, really bad performance here. We're high CPM. It's a high competition audience, right? Or it's an audience that isn't working as well. So what I would do here to troubleshoot, to try and fix this campaign, and this is what we're actually doing, my team's going to implement this when I'm done with the video, is we would take the exact same ad and we would just run it to a different audience. We might run it to the Great Britain audience, or we might run it just to the interests and see, because you'll see this is copy 4, copy 1, copy 1, copy 3, copy 2. So, okay, maybe copy 2 and copy 4, if they had a different audience and we're getting $8 CPM, maybe we would be getting that 50, 60, 70 cent clicks that we're really looking for. All right. So that you can see there how CPM helped us to troubleshoot this campaign. But let's look at another one really quickly. Let's look at this other one here. that is also high cost. And we're noticing it's high cost, but our CPM isn't actually bad. It's one of the best CPMs. It's the second best CPM we have. So what do we do then? The next thing that we're going to look at is CTR, or link click through. Okay. This is the click through rate for people that see the ad and then click it, or the percentage of people that see the ad and then click it. Now you'll notice, compared to our high end ones in this one, right? These ones that had the high CPM, we've got a 1.6% click through and a 1.13% click through, right? If you look at our best performer, it's a 1.8. Our other good performer is a 1.6. So this is people that see the ad and then the copy makes them click, the percentage that makes them click. And so when I look at these ones that had the high CPM, right? This one is our second highest click-through rate. So if we can get a right audience, get that CPM down, I'm anticipating really good cost per click from it, just like our best performing ad, right? But then this one, so we got copy 2 and copy 4. Copy 4 is only a 1.13 compared to our copy 1 and our copy 3 that have these 1.6 and higher. I'm sorry, copy 4. So copy 4 doesn't have as good of a click-through rate. Maybe the copy's not as effective, because what click-through rate is really telling us is, did the image make people stop scrolling, and did the copy compel people to click on the ad? And so the more compelling the copy and the offer, it comes down to the offer too, the more likely people are going to click through. But usually with this offer, like we know this offer, they're all the same offer and we're comparing all the same thing. This different click-through rates is telling us which ad creative, image, and copy is working the best. All right. And then that can help us figure things out. So this one that has this 1.2 copy here that has the really low click-through percentage, even though it has great CPM and it's one of our higher ones, we know if there's a low click-through that we probably need to make changes to the ad. And there's two potential things it could be. The first one is that we can use the same copy. Maybe the copy's good, but we need to use a different image, because the image is what gets people to stop scrolling. So our first move is going to be to take this exact copy, but put a new image on it or multiple new images on it and see if any of those images improve the click-through rate by having a higher percentage of people stopping to scroll. But if the images aren't working, then we'll know the copy is likely the problem. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to try different copy variations. As you can see here, we've got multiple copy variations going. So we would probably just want to use one of the better copy variations, like copy 3. Now, sometimes you try a ton of copy variations and you're still not getting a good click through. That can be a sign that your offer is not very compelling. You need to tweak your offer because they're not interested enough to click. But always check the image and the copy before you ditch the offer. You want to start with the easiest thing to change, the image, then the copy is the next easiest, and then finally the offer, the hardest thing to change. But sometimes you got to do that. My very first list building campaign that I ever did, I remember I had this PDF, I put it together and I ran ads to it, and I was spending like $3 per email subscriber. And this was years ago. That was really, really expensive. And I went through 5 variations of the ebook, and all I was doing was changing the cover, like the image that I was using in the ad and the image on the cover on my landing page. And by the 6th variation, my ad cost dropped to 16 cents per email subscriber. I didn't change the content. All I did was change the title and the image, and that had a big impact, right? So sometimes just making small tweaks to the offer can have a big impact, and the CTR can indicate that for you. Now, let's say you're getting high costs, but you have a good CPM. You have, and I would say, honestly, 10 to 20 range is a pretty typical CPM. It's going to vary from account to account based on who you're targeting and all of that kind of stuff. But this $20 or 20 pound CPM isn't always a bad thing, but you can see compared to the other ones we're getting, it's not as good as others. But in some places that could be good. But let's say that you've got a good CPM, right? You get a good cost per click because you're getting a good click-through percentage, right? You're getting people through. Maybe the click-through percentage is even higher. It's 2%. You're getting all these clicks in, but you still have a really high cost per result, right? And so what that indicates is you're getting all these clicks, but nobody's opting in, right? You're not getting that result. It's not converting. So let me switch back over to this campaign really quickly because the math's going to be a lot easier, right? Let's say you have this, you're for some reason you're getting clicks, but you're getting these higher costs, and you go, okay, I'm getting, this one's getting 50 clicks, but let's say you had 300 clicks and you only had 7 leads, then you might go, wow, okay, that's really not good. It's not converting. What that tells you when you have a high amount of clicks, but nobody's taking that next action and getting you that lead, they're not opting in, adding their information, that tells you that you're losing them on the page. All right. And that indicates one of 2 things. The ad isn't the problem because they're clicking on the ad. The offer is at least good enough that they're saying, oh, I'm interested, and they're clicking. The copy is compelling enough that they're clicking, but they're hitting that landing page and they're dropping off. So that can be an indication that your landing page needs work. Maybe it needs to be mobile optimized. Maybe you have a slow load speed and you're losing people. Maybe the copy isn't very good and you need to change the copy on the landing page to get people to enter their email and take that next step. And sometimes it is the offer. Maybe they were interested enough to check it out, but then once they got there and they got more information on the landing page, they weren't willing to take the next step for the offer. Once again, we're always going to start with the easiest thing. The first thing that we're going to try and change is the copy on the landing page, making sure it's mobile optimized, loading well, all of those kind of things to improve our conversion percentage. And then if that's not working, we're getting clicks, we're going to try and figure out how can we tweak the offer a little bit? How can we make it a little bit better so people will take that next step? But generally, it's just going to be a function of improving the landing page that you're sending people to. That way they're more likely to opt in. And there's a couple of things that you can do to improve a landing page like that. Number one, you want to make sure the opt-in box or the button is above the fold on mobile or on desktop. They should, but especially on mobile, they should be able to opt in without having to scroll. That is going to give a huge jump in your conversions. Another thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that the image on your landing page is congruent with your ad image. That way they're comfortable. They know they're in the right place. You want to make sure that the headline is going to be something that they're going to recognize either from the headline on the ad or the topic of the ad, that they get there and go, I'm in the right place. Because if they get confused or it doesn't match up, they're going to bounce. And then you just want to make sure you have a strong call to action that you're telling them exactly what to do. Click this button, enter your name and email to download such and such thing. Or that your copy is either not too short, like there's nothing on there. Maybe you need to add some bullet points where you have these benefit driven bullets that tell them the features of what they're going to get when they download and what the benefit of that feature is. Feature benefit works really great. Or maybe it's too long. Maybe you have all kinds of testimonials, all kinds of extra things on there, and you need to break it down to the basics. I recommend for a good landing page, you want to have a headline, you want to have an image that matches the ad, and you want to have a call to action with the button all above the fold so they don't have to scroll. Then underneath it, I like to say, when you opt in, here's what you're going to learn, or here's what you're going to get, and have, 4 or 5 bullets that have features and benefits, and then another call to action, another button. Keep it real simple. White background, black text works incredibly well. And if you do that, you're going to see much higher conversions. Also, make sure if your conversions aren't doing super well, try mobile. Okay. Most of Facebook traffic is going to be on mobile. And so if you're running a mobile ad and your landing page is optimized for mobile, it's going to do much better. A lot of times when I see people struggling to get conversions, they're not optimized for mobile. And as soon as they make that change, everything gets better and it starts performing better. So just to recap how to go through the system, how to analyze these analytics and make smart decisions about what you need to change in your ad. The very first thing you're going to do, you're going to look at you're going to click performance and clicks, and you're going to look at your results, your ad spend, and your cost per result. And if the cost per result isn't where you want it to be, if it's too expensive, then you're going to dig in. The first thing we're going to look at is our CPM. How much are we spending for 1,000 people to see this ad? If that's high, then we're going to take actions to try and improve that. We're going to look at maybe a different audience that's less competitive or that's more interested in what we're doing. We're going to try different copy that's going to have, a bigger positive benefit, or people are going to engage with more, because high engagement on an ad can help improve this. But we're going to try and see if we have an abnormally high CPM compared to normal. We're going to make changes to try and bring that down. If our CPM's okay, we're going to look at our click-through rate, our CTR. What percentage of the people that are seeing that ad are clicking through? And if we have a low click-through rate, that means that we need to first try changing the image. If that doesn't work, try changing the headline or the ad copy itself to see if you can get more clicks. And Worst case scenario, if those things aren't working, try changing the offer. Maybe the offer's not compelling enough to drive the clicks you want. But if your CPM's good, you're getting a good click-through percentage, you're getting a high percentage of clicks, and they're just not converting, then that means you need to look at your landing page, see if there's changes that need to be made to improve the conversion rate on the landing page, or worst case scenario, change your offer. All right, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching. I want you to do me a favor right now. If you watch this video and you feel good, you feel like you know what all these numbers mean and what the terms inside of Ads Manager mean and how you can read the analytics to determine what to do, I want you to go ahead and comment below and just let me know. Say, Mike, I got it. Thank you. Or you don't have to thank me. Just, Mike, I got it. Let me know. But if you still have confusion, I want you to let me know that too. If you've got questions, you want a better explanation of a particular term, you're running into a specific issue, let me know in the comments. Let me make sure that this is super clear and that you know everything you need to know about this video. And if for some reason I missed something or you're not quite catching on, I can always go and create another video about it. So let me know in the comments. And when you're done with that, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon. That way you get notifications every time we have new videos out. We've got a lot of new Facebook ads coming out here in the future. We've got new episodes every week on Tuesdays. So that notification is going to make sure you don't miss a single one. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.